Three celebrities who gave up fame to work normal jobs. Dylan and Cole Sprouse starred in the show The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. While Cole continued his acting career by going on the show Riverdale, Dylan stopped to open up his own brewery. Peter Ostrom played Charlie Bucket in Willy Wonka, but after that he refused a 3-movie deal. As he got older, he became a veterinarian and specializes in farm animals. Hayden Christensen was known for playing Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars. But in 2007, he moved to Canada and bought a farm. With his passion for design, he also started his own clothing company in 2013. You won't believe what I did during my 3-day stay in La Fortuna. The first day we hopped on a bus to go on a safari float. We saw a bunch of animals like crocodiles, sloths, owls, toucans, and these monkeys that we went under, and they almost did their business on me. Sadly, they got a little bit on my shoe. In the afternoon, we went to La Fortuna waterfall and got to swim beside it. The waves were very strong, as you can see from me struggling to swim. The next day we went horseback riding to the volcano. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any good clips while we were riding, but on the way back we got to gallop at full speed, which was fun. In the afternoon, we walked through the forest to get to the hanging bridges, then on the way back we saw some spider monkeys. After that we stopped at the natural hot springs until it got dark. On the last day we went on 12 zip lines, and by the time we finished that and ate, it was almost dark outside, so we just explored the town for a bit, then went to the hot springs at our resort. I couldn't include everything in this video, like these scooters that we rented to get around town, and our meals, which was some of the best food I've ever tasted in my life. The next morning we rented a car to go to our final stop of the trip, but before we left we went to the rope swing, which was super fun. What's the difference between a piano, tuna, and a pot of glue? I'm not sure. You can tune a piano, but you can't piano a tuna. What about the glue? I knew you'd get stuck there. 2 times Google Maps saved lives. One day Sander Cochler was on his way to work when an ex-employee named John Charles kidnapped him. He said their boss owed him money, so he wanted to use Sander to set up a meeting with him. When John left the room, Sander used Google Maps to send his location to his boss. When his boss got his location, he called the police and drove there immediately. John was then arrested and sentenced to 8 years in prison. When Saru was 5 years old, he got on a runaway train in India which separated him from his family. He had to start a whole new life by himself, and he searched for his family for 23 years. Since he was so young at the time, he couldn't remember where they lived. The only thing that he could remember is that his hometown was closed off by 2 bridges. When Google Maps came out, he used it to find the 2 bridges and he found them. He then traveled to his hometown and was reunited with his family. 3 actors who actually got injured in movies. In Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise had a scene where he jumped from building to building. He slams into the building, then pulls himself up in pain and slowly limps away. This is because when he hit the building, he actually broke his ankle. In The Exorcist, there's a scene where the possessed girl slaps her mom across the room, causing her to yell. To film this scene, there were people who pulled the actor onto her back using wires, but they pulled too hard and left her with lifelong back pain. Finally, in a scene for the movie Apocalypse Now, the actor had to pretend like he was drunk, but he thought it would be more realistic if he was actually drunk, so that's what they did. And because he wasn't thinking right, he punched a mirror, causing it to break and cut his hand. But he kept going and they used it in the final cut. 3 animals that saved human lives. One day at 4 in the morning, this parrot started squawking. Not because it was hungry, but because the laundry room was on fire. The loud noises from the parrot woke up its owners, then they ran outside and called the fire department. If it weren't for the parrot, their whole house could have been destroyed, and even worse yet, they could have been hurt badly. One winter night in Russia, someone heard a cat meowing outside their apartment, so they went to go and see it. When they got there, they realized it wasn't the cat making noises, it was actually a baby crying. If it weren't for the cat keeping the baby warm, it might not have survived in the cold. A 5-year-old named Amber Mason and her family traveled to Thailand for a vacation. While they were there, Amber became friends with a 4-year-old elephant. One morning when they were strolling the beach, an unexpected tsunami hit. The elephant rushed to the water to get Amber and pulled her to shore where her mother was waiting. If it weren't for the elephant, she could have drowned. 3 bizarre things found in pools. A lady was going down to the pool for a morning aerobics class when she seen a 5-foot crocodile in the pool. She phoned the rangers to come get it, and when they took it out, they noticed it had no markings on it, so it must have been a wild croc. In California, the police were chasing a car, but it was driving so crazy that they had to stop following it for safety reasons. The car was later found in someone's pool, but the driver was nowhere to be seen, so they think he ran away to avoid the charges. And lastly, one morning a family woke up to a hippo in their pool. The water went from crystal clear and clean to dark green and dirty. The father's a safari director, so he's used to seeing animals like that. They said the hippo stayed there for 10 days before it finally left. 5 emojis that you've been using wrong. Lots of people think this emoji symbolizes praying, but it's actually a high five. When you first look at this, it looks like a kiss, but it's actually a whistle. The right-facing fist doesn't mean to punch, but is a sign of respect. This emoji is usually used to get people to read what's underneath it, but also symbolizes being under the weather or feeling down. This isn't just a pink ribbon, it's actually the symbol for fighting cancer. 5 emojis that you've been using wrong, part 2. You may have seen this in comic books before where it means bam. But when texting, it means the person you're talking to has lost their temper or is out of control. Apart from meaning ban, the X emoji also symbolizes a kiss. This emoji is a Japanese ogre named Namahage, which drives away evil spirits. This emoji represents the mask of Tengu, which is a demon from the Japanese mythology. It's used to tell the person you're texting with that they're being arrogant. This emoji means no good. In Asian countries, it's often shortened to these 2 letters. Here's 5 everyday things that you didn't know the purpose of. The number 57 on Heinz ketchup bottles. According to Heinz, only 11% of people know that it has nothing to do with the product label. It's actually a sweet spot to tap on to get the sauce onto your plate. Childproof bottle caps. Everyone knows plastic medicine bottles come with childproof caps. But if there's no children around, you could flip the cap upside down and it's no longer childproof. The arrow next to the fuel tank. The arrow actually points to which side of the vehicle the fuel tank's on, which is really handy if you're renting a vehicle. The little slot at the end of tape measures. The slot can be held on nails when you're measuring, so you don't need anyone else to hold it. The ridge is on the F and J keys. These are there so your index fingers can locate other keys with muscle memory, making it easier to type. Here's 5 everyday things that you didn't know the purpose of. Number 1, the hole in pot handles. Most people use it to hang pots and pans, but it can also be used to hold spoons when you're cooking so you don't make a mess. Number 2, the groove on the bottom of mugs. The grooves are designed so when you place it upside down in the dishwasher, it allows water to flow out rather than spill all over your feet when you take it out. Number 3, the hole in pen caps. The hole is there to allow airflow so if someone swallows it, they won't choke. Number 4, pom-poms on beanies. This style was made for French sailors so they wouldn't hit their head on the ceilings of ships that were low. Number 5, the tiny buttons on jeans. These tiny buttons are called rivets and are placed in spots that are most likely to fall apart. 5 illegal things you've done before. Using a fake name online, whether it's for Instagram, an online game, or a survey. You could be charged for the federal crime of hacking, which is 5 to 20 years in prison. Watching movies on free websites. Unless it's a paid service like Netflix, most free websites won't have a license to the show or movie. Connecting to a public Wi-Fi. If you've connected to an unprotected Wi-Fi that isn't a restaurant, then it's illegal because you're using a service that someone else is paying for. Using social media when you're underage. To use apps like Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube, you legally have to be 13 or older. And for WhatsApp, you have to be 16 or older. Finally, sharing subscription passwords with friends. In 2016, a law was made that you need permission from the website before sharing your password or else it's illegal. 5 people who won the food lottery, part 5. This person got a grape with 8 of them fused together. This person opened their banana peel and found 2 of them in there. This person got a really big fry. This person got a really big Lucky Charm. And this person got a strawberry the size of their palm. 4 ways you've been secretly tricked by companies. In the list of ingredients on a product, manufacturers often use the scientific name of certain ingredients to confuse the customer. This way you don't quite understand if the ingredient is healthy or not. Limited time offers are a trick to create a sense of urgency so that you buy the product before the sale ends. But in reality, it's probably not a real offer or it may never end. Advertising agencies alter the photos of the products they're promoting in order to make them look more eye-catching. In most photos and commercials, they don't even use real food. They use glue for milk, car oil for syrup, and coffee bubbles are actually soap. Companies give a human character to an animal or object to get you to buy their product. It makes them look more adorable and it'll give you the confidence to buy it. Some examples are the Duracell bunny and the Fruit Loops toucan. 5 advertising tricks they don't want you to know. In commercials, they place cardboard in between each pancake to make them look better. And because syrup absorbs quickly, they use engine oil. Ice cream melts quickly under hot studio lights, so instead they use colored mashed potatoes. In commercials for milk, coffee, and beer, they add a liquid soap. It creates a stable foam that looks more appealing. Unlike whipped cream, shaving cream doesn't melt, so they use it on desserts in commercials and movies. Now before I tell you the craziest one, I found this addicting new shooter game. There's tons of weapons to collect, a bunch of different heroes to unlock, and insane boss fights. Just press the button on my profile to get it. Finally, cereal quickly soaks into milk and sinks to the bottom. So they replace the milk with glue so the cereal stays on top and doesn't get soggy. 5 crazy jobs you didn't know exist. Ethical hackers are paid by companies to continuously hack their systems so they can identify and fix their weak points. Blimp drivers fly these around pulling ad banners, and to get this job you need your pilot's license. Private island caretakers showcase them to the world through social media to increase tourism. Food stylists can work for food magazines or even a food manufacturer on their packaging and advertising campaigns. Ice cream testers assess based on flavor, color, and texture, but also help with developing new ones. 5 dream signs you shouldn't ignore. Falling. This means you're overwhelmed and out of control in a situation in your life. Being chased. This means you're avoiding an issue or a person in real life. Flying. This means you're ready to take a bold decision in life. Lost. This means you feel out of place or you're going the wrong direction in life. And finally, being naked in public means you have the fear of being judged. 5 things the Queen has never been able to do. The Queen isn't allowed to grow long nails. She also has to keep her hair neat, and if she wants to wear makeup, it must look natural. The Queen isn't allowed in public without a bodyguard. Each member of the family has up to 5 highly trained armed officers while they're out in public. The queen can't choose who she wants to speak with at formal dinners. The rule is she must begin speaking with the person on her right, then switch to the person on her left. The queen has never been allowed to sign her autograph. The whole royal family has been banned from signing autographs for fans in case their signature gets forged later on. And finally, one of the most strict rules is how she's allowed to sit. In particular, she isn't allowed to cross her legs. The queen must keep her knees together while tilting her legs to the sides. Here's 5 things you didn't know about SpongeBob. There was a replica of the Krusty Krab built in Palestine. The original name for SpongeBob was SpongeBoy Ahoy, but SpongeBoy was copyrighted by a mob company. Tom Kenny, the voice actor for the anchovies, actually inhaled helium from a tank to do the voice. Carolyn Lawrence, the voice actor for Sandy, said she got lots of letters from prison and that was her biggest fan base. Barack Obama said his all-time favorite character is SpongeBob SquarePants because he watched the show with his daughters. Now if you're from America or another country that doesn't have SpongeBob on Netflix, you could click the link in my profile and download the app, then open it and change your location to Canada, and now when you search it up, you could watch it. 5 times actors weren't acting. In this scene of Stranger Things when Eleven was fighting possessed Billy, she was so exhausted from filming that she broke character and fell back into Michael's arms. You can even see him look at the producers because he wasn't expecting it. In this episode of Riverdale when Archie rescued Cheryl from the lake, even though he was punching a mat on the ice, he actually broke his hand from hitting so hard. In the movie Bird Box, the actor Sandra Bullock was blindfolded the whole time and she actually couldn't see. So in scenes when she was stumbling around, it was actually real and not acting. In the movie Maleficent, they couldn't find any kids that weren't scared of her, so they ended up using her own child. Her daughter wasn't acting, she was just trying to get her mom's attention. In this episode of Friends, David Schwimmer pranked Jennifer Aniston by pretending to fall down the stairs. She didn't know this was happening, so she actually got scared. Here's 5 world records you didn't know existed. The most toothpicks in a beard. It took Joel 3 hours and 13 minutes to put 3,500 toothpicks in his beard. The longest hair on a teenager, which is 5 feet and 7 inches. The longest hula hoop spun, which is just over 17 feet in diameter. The tallest hat, which is 15 feet and 9 inches. And finally, the largest table tennis bat, which is over 11 feet tall and 6 feet long. 5 people who won the food lottery. When this person cracked an egg, a smaller one came out of it. This person found that in their pack of Skittles. This person got blueberries the size of a quarter. This person got a Kinder Egg with 2 layers of chocolate. And this person found 5 peanuts in 1 shell. 5 photos you'll have to look at twice. At first it looks like there's a giant pigeon, but it's actually just sitting on a ledge and the person's walking in the distance. At first it looks like there's a human dog, but the dog's actually sitting beside its owner. At first this looks like some weird looking cat, but it's actually just 2 cats laying in the exact same position on each side. At first it looks like this fish has an arm, but the fish just got too close to the camera. And finally, it looks like this person has a small head, but it's just the head from the person in front of them. 5 places you should never swim. The boiling lake in Dominica is so dangerous that the magma underneath the surface makes the water so hot that you would be swimming in boiling water. Lake Karachay is one of the most toxic lakes on earth, due to all the toxic waste that the Russian government introduced when toxic materials weren't as big of a problem. The Nile River is filled with crocodiles everywhere that could kill you, and if you manage to escape the crocodiles, you'll have snakes as a second problem. In the river and outside of it, you could probably find at least 15 venomous species. Jacob's Well is a lake located in Texas where you could dive really deep, but you have to be careful because there's caves below where people can get trapped. And lastly, Hanakape Beach has currents so strong that they even keep count of how many deaths there's been to scare people, and the number of people killed is 80. 5 reasons why people think the first moon landing was fake. If Neil Armstrong was the first person on the moon, then who took the picture? Here's a picture of Neil Armstrong's boots on display, and here's a picture of his footprint on the moon. They also wonder how the flag is up if there's no wind on the moon. They think the picture was taken in a studio because there's no stars in the sky. And because he's in a shadow but he's all lit up, people think they used a studio light to take the picture. Here's 5 things that feel illegal but actually aren't. Number 1, calling in sick when you're actually sick. Number 2, leaving a store without buying anything. Number 3, leaving class when the bell rings and not when the teacher dismisses you. Number 4, having your meal returned because they didn't bring you what you asked for. And number 5, asking a salesperson about an item then not buying it. I just met the woman of my dreams, what should I do? Send her some flowers and on the card invite her over for a home-cooked meal. That's genius, thank you! I wonder how his meal went. Well, that was a terrible idea. Didn't she come to your house? She did, but she refused to cook. Your husband just woke up from surgery. You could come see him now. Okay, thank you. But just to let you know, he's still on anesthetics. Hey, sweetie, how are you? You're so beautiful. Aww. You're so cute. What happened to me being beautiful? Drugs are wearing off. Actors that can't stand their movies. Daniel Radcliffe in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. The actor grew up on movie sets because of the 8 Harry Potters through 10 years. But he said he hates the 6th movie because his acting was awful. George Clooney in Batman and Robin. In 1997, Batman and Robin was so unsuccessful that no one made another Batman movie for 8 years. George Clooney decided to apologize to people who watched it, and also Adam West, who played Batman in the 60s. Alec Guinness in Star Wars. He once called Star Wars fairy tale rubbish. He didn't consider Obi-Wan's role to be a serious work, and the dialogue of the character irritated him. No way. Addison Rae?
Okay.
If I could change the alphabet, I'd put you and I together.
I'm so nervous, my hands are sweating.
Really? Am I that attractive? I'm wondering if I could get that bracelet for my girlfriend. Would you like your girlfriend's name engraved on it? Actually, can you put to my one and only love? Yeah, of course. How romantic of you. Not exactly romantic, but this way if we break up, I could use it again. Martha, I'd like to ride in that plane. I know, Joe, but that plane ride costs $10, and $10 is $10. Martha, I'm 71 years old. If I don't ride in that plane this year, I may never have another chance. Joe, that plane ride costs $10, and $10 is $10. I'll make you a deal. I'll give you a ride in the plane, and if you stay quiet, it'll be free of charge. But if you say just one word, it'll be $10. Deal. Man, oh man, I did everything I could think of to get you guys to yell, but you didn't. Well, I was gonna say something when Martha fell out, but $10 is $10. 10 mind-blowing examples of the Mandela effect. The Monopoly Man never had a molecule on his eye. The monkey Curious George never had a tail. The end of Pikachu's tail was never black. Jiffy's peanut butter was never a thing, it's just Jif. One of C-3PO's legs is actually silver. Double stuffed Oreo cookies are spelled with one F. The word fruit in Fruit Loops was never spelled with 2 O's. The Flintstones is actually spelled with 2 T's. The Bernstein Bears is actually the Berenstain Bears. And finally, there's never been a hyphen in between the word Kit Kat.
Last time.
It's Luke Davidson. He just hit 10 million followers today. 10 million? Yeah. It was just a dream. Good morning, Luke. I just wanted to congratulate you on 10 million followers. Huh?
Today.
Are you serious? A dream inside of a dream? Good morning, Luke. What? Are you coming to congratulate me on 10 million followers? No. So it was just a dream. I was coming to congratulate you on 10.1 million! What? Every time I lay in bed, I get this terrible fear that there's something underneath. Wow, I've never heard of such a phobia. But like all phobias, it could be treated. It will likely take 20 sessions. Okay, how much is each session? Oh, it's just $80 a session, but trust me, it's well worth it. How come I didn't hear back from you? When I told my husband about the price, he thought he would save some money, so he cut the legs off my bed. I just changed my name on Instagram to no one. Really? Why? So when I see a dumb post, I can like it and it'll say no one liked this.
That's a fact. Every week is fashion week for me.
Bad habits that are actually good for you. Sleeping in. Waking up when your body tells you to wake up rather than your alarm keeps your metabolism up, which means you could eat more food without gaining weight. And people who undersleep are more likely to eat larger portions of junk food. Complaining. Always looking at the bright side of life won't necessarily make you a happier person, but being realistic about the good and bad parts of your life has shown to be better for your mental health. Being messy. People who are messy tend to be more creative, and they found to be 36% more efficient than people who are neat. Dust mites have a hard time living in messy conditions like an unmade bed, so it can also be a good thing for people with allergies.
Look at Mr. Lou's shirt. It looks like he's going golfing. Pretend like you're working.
Why are you guys laughing?
Oh, Luke told me a funny joke.
Oh yeah? What was the joke?
Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side.
I'll let you guys continue your work.
Animals that are bigger than you thought. This is how big horses' lungs are. This is how big a giant leatherback sea turtle is compared to a human. Here's how big a giant African land snail is compared to a hand. Here's how big a blue whale's heart is compared to a human. Here's how big eagle's claws are compared to a hand. And here's how big a saltwater crocodile is. Animals you should never touch. The sting of the bolodan is so painful that it could cause nausea, vomiting, and even heart problems. People who have gotten stung by this ant say the same is similar to if you got shot by a bullet. The cat moth caterpillar looks really friendly, but I would recommend that you don't touch it, because through their hairs they release a poison that can cause vomiting, weakness, and shivering. The Japanese giant hornet is so dangerous that if you touch it, it could kill you. The venom from the stinger can destroy human tissues to the point where it makes you walk with difficulty. Another highly venomous animal is the blue-ringed octopus. If you see one of these, get away quickly, because even though they're small, its venom can result in nausea, respiratory and heart problems, or even death if you don't treat it within a few minutes. And finally, the box jellyfish has been called the most venomous creature in the world. Its venom kills so fast that there's nothing you can do about it. My brother's in jail for something he didn't do. What didn't he do? He didn't run fast enough. April Fool pranks that went way too far. The sales assistant at a store called her boss and told him that the store was being robbed and she was being threatened. Within a few minutes, police cars and helicopters surrounded the store. When she said it was an April Fool's prank, she was arrested and fired from her job. A lady was arrested after calling her daughter and saying she was shot at her home. The daughter called the police, but when 20 police officers arrived, they realized that no one was there and it was just a bad joke. On a radio station in England, the DJ decided to make a joke, saying from the cliffs of Beachy Head, a ship very similar to the Titanic could be seen. Tons of people went to the cliff, causing a lot of traffic. A few days later, due to the traffic, a crack opened up the ground and it fell into the sea. Son, you have to work 5 times as hard as you did last year to get a good mark on the exam. But Dad, what? 0 times 5 equals 0. Athletes who were caught cheating. In 2012, it was confirmed that cyclist Lance Armstrong had used drugs throughout his career to enhance his performance. He received a lifetime ban and got his 7 Tour de France victories taken away. Tom Brady demanded that the balls being used in a game between the Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts were to be slightly inflated to gain an advantage. Although they won 45-7, Brady was fined $4 million and banned for 4 games. Ben Johnson cheated to win the 100-meter dash in the 1988 Olympics. A prohibited anabolic steroid was detected in his samples, for which he was banned for 2 years. A few years later, he tested positive again and was banned for life. Finally, in the 1986 World Cup, in a game between Argentina and England, Diego Maradona scored a goal with his hand, and the referee counted it despite the evidence. Yes! Dad, loose no milk on the carpet! Hey, you want something to eat? Yeah, sure. Mom, my friend wants something to eat! Really? I told you to clean your room before your friend came over. Did you do it? I'm sorry, Mommy. Answer my question. Did you do it? No, I didn't! Hey, how are you doing? I'm good, how are you? Good, how are you? Do you know the answer to question 3? What? Do you know the answer to question 3? What? Do you know the answer to question 3? Oh! I changed my name on Instagram to No One. Why would you do that? So when I see a dumb post, I could like it and it'll say no one liked this. Hey, can you help me load this money into the truck? Yeah, sure. So why'd you need my help? Don't other people work here? Well, I'm not actually a bank attendant. I just needed someone to blame.
Bye. Mom, I just called the cops on you.
What? Why would you do that?
I found your driver's license, and you're not my mom. Your name is Shelly.
Sweetie, Mom is what you call me, but Shelly is my real name. Officer here? I just got a call for a child kidnapping.
Yeah, she's right here. Arrest her.
Hello, officer. He's actually my child. He's just freaking out because he found my driver's license. Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
That's right. You get her, officer.
No, I'm talking to you for making a false report. Would you rather have $30 million or 30 million loyal friends? Easy. 30 million loyal friends. Really? Why? Because I can just ask them all to give me $1 each, and since they're loyal, they'll give it to me. Oh, I never thought about that. Then I can run for president, and boom, I'll already have 30 million votes. Jeez, that's smart. Then I can start a business like an ice cream shop, and I'll already have 30 million loyal customers. Wow, you've really thought this through, haven't you? Then I could charge them $3 a scoop and tell all of them to buy 1 scoop a day, so that's $90 million a day.
Dad, can I go to the movie theater with my friends? One of their parents said they'd pick me up.
I'm not sure. Ask your mother.
Mom, can I go to the movie theater with my friends? One of their parents said they'd pick me up.
I'm not sure. Ask your father.
But he... Okay. Dad, Mom said I can go.
Okay. Have fun.
Mom, Dad said yes.
Okay, that's good with me then.